Hello and welcome back to yet another toy review, and today we're going to be looking at another Servco truck. So this time we've got the 1990 Servco fire truck. Now this is a pretty exciting Servco truck. I mean, the last one that I showed you, the 1991 tanker truck, that one, it was a very nice looking truck, but it didn't have a whole lot of features. This one's got lots of features. So, by the way, again, like I explained in the last video about the Servco trucks and the Wilco trucks being the same as the Hess trucks but a year later, this truck is identical to the 1989 Hess fire truck, just with the Servco name and color scheme on it. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into the review. So starting out with the packaging, we got the top of the box right here. It says Servco toy fire truck with dual sound siren. I believe this was the first one to ever feature sounds. It's also got real head and taillights, emergency flashers, a coin bank, and 2 Energizer alkaline batteries, which again are no longer there, this truck being 34 years old at this point. On the side of the box, again, we got a nice shot of the truck right here. Again, though, it's just, this time it's in kind of more of a reddish background than a blue one. But again, it doesn't have the fancy artwork like the Hess truck boxes have, like you see here in the background. But again, still a nice picture. On the front of the box, we got the front of the truck. And on the back of the box, we got the back of the truck. And again, on the bottom, we've got some special instructions for how to replace the batteries and operate the lights and sounds, as well as how to use the bank compartment. Alright, now for the unboxing. So, truck should come out right here. There's actually a top insert and a bottom insert, and there's this piece here on the front that comes out. Let me take this off, pull off the bottom piece, and here's our fire truck. Now, packaging aside, and one thing I wanted to point out is that this truck actually has some slight damage on it. This piece on the front bumper is actually broken off on this side, and also it's not actually broken, but it's slightly bent here on the ladder. So just to point that out before anybody else does, as I'm pointing out the details on this truck. Alright, so having a look at the detail right here, and man, again, just like the last truck, this thing is very, very realistic looking. I mean, it looks like a real fire truck. So this would be considered, I think, a rear mount type of engine because it's got a ladder and it's got it on the rear. So a rear mount ladder truck. So there's a look at the side of the truck right there. Okay, so here's a quick look at the front of the truck. Again, note the missing detail on the bumper right there. Here's the back of the truck briefly. Here's the other side. And the bottom. Alright, so let's have a close look in detail. So on the front here, if you don't count that missing detail, it's got these, what I think are lights there. You got the headlights, the big large windshield, molded in windshield wipers, the big front bumper with the bumper guards on it and these other little rivet details. And we've got a big Servco logo embossed in the front grille. In the front here, we got the side view mirrors, the little clearance lights and air horns up on the roof, and then we got the big emergency flashing lights. We got the door right here with actually molded in door hinges and a door handle. We got this diamond texture right there, Servco logo on the door. Funny thing is, this is actually a sticker. On the Hess ones, it's actually printed on. Then we got like a grab iron back here, big side windows. Yeah, some nice detail right there. Even the inside of the cab is detailed with the steering wheel seats in there, including the back-facing, or does it have the back-facing seats in there? Actually, no, I don't think it does. Sorry, my mistake. But yeah, the inside of the cab is nice and detailed too. On this side here, we've got all our controls and gauges for like our water pumps, the parts where they would hook up the hydrant and hoses to, and probably the ladder controls. We got the tool compartment doors molded in. They don't actually open, but they even have molded in handles. Got more chrome diamond plating texture here on the rear fenders. We got our rear stabilizers, and again, more molded in tool compartment doors, plus a big Servco logo on the side. Other side of the truck is pretty much identical. On the back of the truck, we got our big chrome piece on the back. This is actually a door for the bank. I'm going to show you that later. It's got a big Servco logo molded into it. We've got more molded in tool compartment doors. Parts where you'd see like hoses and stuff. I think that's what it is. You got the tail lights, rear bumper with more diamond plating texture in here, and then we got the license plate with the year 1990 on it. So here's a look at our roof again with our air horns, clearance lights, and our emergency flashers. Light bar, I guess. On the top over here, we got two molded in hose reels with nozzles on there. This is probably, I think this is a speaker for where the sound comes out. We've got a nice diamond plating texture over here, more tool compartment doors, and we got the word bank molded in here. That's the coin slot for the bank right there. The ladder, we've even got the hydraulic pistons on it, and the ladder itself is fairly nicely detailed. It's got all the structural, I'm trying to think of what you call that design, but regardless, it's nicely detailed. Underneath the truck is nicely detailed too. We got more engine parts details over here. You got the transmission, front axle and suspension. You got the drive shaft, exhaust system and muffler. You got the rear differential. We got, I don't know if this is a fuel tank or whatever that is. We got even got a spare tire molded in back here. Yeah, a lot of detailing on the other side. So again, we got the chrome wheels, and the tires, yes, are rubber. They got a little flex to them. They got tread on them, and again, just like the last truck I showed you, they actually say Hess on them because, again, yeah, Servco was a business partner with Hess, so they got permission to sell these from Hess, and these were made from the existing Hess truck molds, so they didn't bother to change the name on the tires. We got dual tires on the back right here. All in all, this is a very, very nicely detailed, very realistic looking toy fire truck. Alright, so let's get into the features of this truck. And this truck does, in fact, have a lot of features. A lot more than the last one that I reviewed. So this should be the fun part of the video. So obviously it does roll as you would expect. It rolls relatively nicely and smoothly. Although I noticed that the back wheels on it are slightly crooked. And it's relatively quiet because it's got rubber tires. Does make a little bit of noise, but I think that's mostly just due to it having gotten dirt in it from an incident. So on the front of the truck, these mirrors actually fold in and out, which is a very, very nice attention to detail. I mean, look at that, and they lock into place when they're at. That's actually pretty cool. So on the back of the truck, we got two stabilizers, one on each side, that fold down to keep the truck steady whenever the ladder is raised so that it doesn't topple over. And as you would expect, the ladder does indeed raise and lower, so it raises up, and it actually can raise up to an almost 90 degrees. And the hydraulic pistons on the hydraulic rams here actually move in and out when it raises, which is a very nice attention to detail. And it extends not one, but two stages. And when extended, it is so long, that's really hard to get on camera. I mean, wow, look at that. I might need to take some measurements here. So it also does rotate a full 360 degrees, and it's on sort of a ratchet joint, so it does click, and it kind of locks into place when you have it turned a certain way, so it doesn't just like spin randomly when you don't want it. Okay, so we're going to measure it. So it actually extends to about like 27.5 inches. So it's more than 2 feet long when fully extended. Wow. Okay, yeah, so that was a very long ladder. But if you raise the ladder up, again, as I pointed out here, it says bank, and there's a coin slot right here. So this truck's got a built-in coin bank, as was mentioned on the box earlier. So what you can do is load the bank up with your money. Yeah, I would measure how much this thing could hold, but I don't think I have enough coins right now to be able to do that with it. But on the back here, you can see we got this red knob that you can turn here. This is actually a door. It unlocks it, and then you can dump your money out. Unfortunately, if you look in there, you can see these structural sections of there. Those actually kind of block stuff in, so that sometimes a coin will get stuck in there. So you have to kind of shake this thing kind of hard to get all the money to come out, though. Then you turn it back to lock it again to keep people from stealing it or from just falling out while you're playing with it. Honestly, I really do like the bank feature a lot. I think it makes this toy very practical. Makes it more than just something to play with. It's actually something useful and encourages kids to save up money and start working to earn it. So I really like that. And the other thing is then you don't have to have a piggy bank that just sits on the shelf and a toy fire truck, but you can have both all in one. Now, that really is cool. Okay, like I mentioned before, this truck is equipped with lights and sounds. But like I said before, the original batteries that came with this truck are long gone since it is from 1990, so we're going to have to put some new batteries in it. Now, this truck was originally supposed to come with Energizer batteries, but I'm just going to use these Dollar Tree ones for now. So, you push this latch to open the battery compartment. No screws required or screwdrivers required. And what's interesting about this one is that normally when you install batteries, one goes one way and one goes the opposite way, but these actually go the same direction in there. So we're going to close this up. You can see we got two switches here. This white one here activates sounds. So we've got two different siren sounds this thing makes. There's one. There's the other. Yeah. So they're very loud. Very, very loud siren sounds. I'm not surprised because the speaker's right on top. So, yeah, those are very loud. And this red switch here activates the lights. So if I turn it on, these top two lights, the light bar, originally are on solid, but then they start flashing after a few seconds. Yeah, there they are. And on the front, we got the headlights. On the back, we got the taillights. So in a moment, I'm going to take this thing in the dark, and I can show it to you in the dark with its lights on in the dark. Okay, so here we are in the dark. I'm going to turn this thing on. So watch, see oh, this time it looks like they're already flashing right to begin with. But yeah, on the front of the truck, we got the headlights right here. On the back, we got the tail lights. And let's have a look at those emergency flashers. So they don't appear to necessarily just be going flash, flash. They're flashing in some sort of interesting pattern. I don't know if they flash in a specific pattern or if they just randomly blink when they want to. I think there's not a circuit board or something that makes these flash. These are actually special bulbs with a special filament in there that are supposed to make them flash, which I found out. That's actually kind of cool. Although, I suppose it would make replacing these bulbs a lot harder because if the one were to burn out, because like I said, they're special bulbs, so I'm sure sourcing those is difficult. But still cool, and these lights are nice and bright. Now, this truck doesn't have nearly as many lights as the previous one that I reviewed was, but I suppose that's understandable considering the coin bank and stuff. There's not as much room to fit electronics. But what we did get is still cool. Here's just one more shot of it with its lights on in the dark. Yeah, still very cool nonetheless, even though it's got less lights than the previous truck I reviewed. And again, very bright. Alright, so now let's talk about quality. So again, this is a Servco truck, and these are basically the same as Hess trucks. And these have a reputation for being very high quality toys. So again, just like the last one I reviewed, this one is made out of very tough plastic. It isn't cheap plastic, and overall the main body of the truck, it does feel very nice, solid, and robust. And yeah, it's pretty sturdy overall. However, I will admit this ladder actually feels a little bit flimsy. I mean, it's got some flex to it, but I suppose it's fine for normal play, but I could potentially see this. This is probably the weakest point on the truck. I mean, I could see this breaking if a child was like dropping it from a great height or just throwing it around crazy, or if they were like picking it up by the ladder and swing it by that. I'm sure it could survive some rough play, but I could see this. This was probably the easiest part to break on the whole truck. It's probably easier when it's actually extended out because then it becomes less thick. So, yeah. I mean, it's got some flex to it, but I could see it breaking under crazy hard play. Same with these mirrors. Again, they'd probably be fine on normal play, under normal play, but if somebody was to like pull really hard on these, I could see them breaking off. They're actually probably a bit less likely to break off when they're folded in. So, again, it does seem very well built and put together as usual, but I did notice a few slight quality control issues. For once, the back wheels on it are slightly crooked. They're like not straight. I'm used to them being relatively straight on Hess trucks. These graphics are, it's kind of hard to notice on camera, but they're ever so slightly crooked. And this light bar doesn't even look like it was put on straight. Yeah, but that's about it. Otherwise, everything else on this truck seems to be fairly well put together. Lights and sounds work. All the moving parts and functions work nicely. And yeah, it's definitely not a cheaply made toy, I can say that. Okay, so now for my final thoughts on this toy. So again, another very nice offering from Servco here. Again, this truck looks just so realistic. It is probably one of the most realistic looking toy fire trucks I've seen. I mean, I'm sure there's some others out there. Like, there are a couple more ones by Servco, Wilco, and Hess that are also very realistic, as well as I have seen a few like Tonka and Bruder ones out there and stuff that are. But yeah, again, this is a very, very detailed toy fire truck. I'm just impressed with how real it looks, and it's got a lot of nice features on it, which definitely add play value, and I love the coin bank feature. That just makes this thing so useful. Yeah, it's not just a play toy only. It's actually something that kids can actually use for a real purpose. The biggest drawback that I think this toy has is just the fact that the ladder on it is a little bit flimsy. Well, it's not super flimsy, but I mean, it might break under like super really hard play, like throwing it around, dropping it from a great height, or like grabbing it by the ladder and swinging it around, which I could see some like really wild kids or some toddlers doing. So, and the other drawback I have is that the sounds are really loud and that the switches are on the bottom, which makes operating the lights and sounds a little difficult. I mean, it's nice how clean it looks with them on the bottom, but it is a little annoying because sometimes I have to reach under the bottom and turn the switches on in order to operate the lights and sounds while you're playing. But those are pretty much my only gripes I have about this toy. So would I recommend this? Yes, I definitely would recommend it. If you're a Hess truck collector or a Servco truck collector, or just a toy truck collector in general, I would definitely recommend adding this one to your collection. And even if you just like fire trucks, it's just a very nice looking model to display on the shelf. I would highly recommend it for any collectors or people who want this as a collector's item or display model. Now, as far as buying it for kids, I would recommend it most definitely if you have kids that are into fire trucks and they're probably over 3 or 4 years of age, and you know that they can probably handle it well enough that they wouldn't actually break the ladder. I would personally not recommend this for kids under 3 years of age unless they're being supervised by an adult, because they could probably do something crazy with it that could end up breaking the ladder. And you gotta be careful about super wild kids, like kids who do really wild stuff that these toys really weren't designed for. So the ladder is the biggest thing to watch out for, but yes, I would recommend it for kids. The coin bank just makes all that more useful. And yes, it would make a good coin bank just sitting on the shelf, like that's all they use it for, is a coin bank, and they don't really play with it. I'd recommend it for that purpose as well. So I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a nice day, and God bless.